It's the late 1990s, and sci-fi geeks have been looking out for a new franchise to get their teeth stuck into, thanks to shows like Sliders, Lex, Red Dwarf, and Sequest DSV. Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5 were nearing the end of their respective runs, and the crowd wanted more. An experienced writer and creator with a couple of series already under his belt came up with an idea. Let's take a ship from Earth and throw it to the other end of the galaxy and see what happens. That show would become one of the most underrated works on our screen at the turn of the century. I am, of course, talking about well, no, I'm talking about Farscape.
Hurry! Got it!
Farscape, also known to some as the one with the puppets, arrived on our screens in March of 1999, first appearing in Australia and Canada, then in the US and the UK. Farscape was created and developed by Rockne S. O'Bannon, who had earlier success with Alien Nation, both the film and TV series, and Sequest DSV, and would go on to work with the reboot of V, develop and produce Defiance and Revolution, and was a consultant on Constantine. Farscape was a joint production between Hallmark Entertainment from the USA, the Nine Network in Australia, and the Jim Henson Company. The show prominently featured creations from the Jim Henson Company Creature Shop, and many of the episodes were directed by Brian Henson, who was also the show's executive producer. Farscape features a diverse ensemble of characters who are initially escaping from a militaristic organisation called the Peacekeepers. The protagonists live inside a large biomechanical ship called Moya, which is a living entity. In the first episode, they are joined by the main character, John Crichton, who is played by Ben Browder, a modern-day American astronaut who accidentally flew into the entrance of a wormhole near Earth during an experimental spaceflight. On the same day, another stranger is picked up by Moya, a stranded peacekeeper named Aaron Sun, who is played by Claudia Black. Despite his best intentions, John makes enemies, initially the captain of the peacekeeper vessel, Grace, and later one of the best baddies on screen at this time, Scorpius. There are a few standalone plots, but the show gradually unfolds progressive arcs, beginning with their recapture by the peacekeepers, followed by John's search to find another wormhole back to Earth, and an eventual arms race for wormhole technology weapons. Secondary arcs explore the way in which the characters change due to their influences and adventures together, most notably John over his obsession with wormhole technology, his relationship with Aaron, and the neural clone of Scorpius that haunts him in his brain. The other beings on this fantastic voyage include Dargo, a Luxan warrior, Pa'ul-Zotor-Zan, a Delvian priest, Dominar Rigel XVI, deposed ruler of the Hynerian Empire, and Pilot. Pilot is the pilot and navigator of Moya. Pilot is symbiotically bonded to Moya, and Moya speaks through him. We meet a larger array of characters during the course of the series, many of whom join the crew of Moya for some time, others who appear in recurring roles. Thanks to the efforts of Jim Henson Creature Shop, the aliens presented in this show are truly alien, not just humans with things stuck to their face, although when prosthetics were called for, they did an excellent job of those too. Rigel and Pilot are both animatronic puppets that deliver convincing performances throughout the run of the series. The series was shot mostly in Australia, which led to the majority of the cast and crew being either Australian or New Zealanders, which also meant that, as an Australian myself, we were able to see this show on our television screens before US shows being produced at the same time made it to our shores. Farscape's characters also frequently make use of slang such as Frel, Dren, and Hasmana as substitute for English expletives, meaning characters could say what they are really feeling without affecting their ratings or their time slot. During the development of Farscape, O'Bannon originally sold the show to the Sci-Fi Channel, where the head of the network told O'Bannon, "Just make it as weird as you can, because I don't want a kids show." In an interview with the Huffington Post, O'Bannon notes, "The greatest words I ever heard were, 'Just make it as weird as you can.' It took all the restraints off, and it was their decision to shoot in Australia that made Farscape a classic. Australians are just incredibly creative and they embrace the insanity of the show. And that word pretty much sums it up: insanity. Farscape is an amazing ride through a place beyond our understanding and comprehension, and I'm going to do my best to bring as much of my comprehension to you. 2019 is the 20th anniversary of Farscape, and I can't think of a better time to do this series. I'll be talking about the show itself from a real-world perspective, as well as diving into the lore on characters, technology, events, and locations, as well as conducting full episode reviews. I don't have a schedule at this stage, so be sure to like and subscribe so you can be notified when a new video is uploaded. For now though, just sit back and enjoy the wonderful opening sequence of Farscape, and I'll see you somewhere in the Uncharted Territories.